The snow began to fall softly over the cobblestone streets of Notting Hill, lending a serene backdrop to the festive decorations that adorned the houses. But beneath the twinkling Christmas lights and the laughter of holiday shoppers, an ominous chill pervaded the air, unnoticed by most but palpable to those who dared to pay attention. As I strolled down Portobello Road, the familiar sights and sounds of Christmas surrounded me, children laughing, carolers singing, the enticing aroma of roasted chestnuts filling the air. Yet, a nagging sense of unease gnawed at the pit of my stomach. It was as if the very soul of Notting Hill had been tainted, its festive spirit warped into something darker. Stopping by a quaint antique shop, I felt drawn to a peculiar item displayed in the window, a vintage Christmas ornament, its surface intricately carved with symbols I couldn't decipher. The shopkeeper, an elderly man with a gaunt face and piercing blue eyes, noticed my fascination and beckoned me inside. "Ah, you have a keen eye," he said, his voice raspy. "That ornament carries a tale of Notting Hill's forgotten past." Intrigued, I listened as he recounted the legend of a Christmas many decades ago, when a shadow fell over Notting Hill. A malevolent force had descended upon the neighborhood, corrupting its festive spirit and plunging it into darkness. The townspeople, desperate to reclaim their Christmas joy, had performed a forbidden ritual, sealing the evil within a single ornament. But over the years, the memory faded, and the ornament was lost, until now. Ignoring the shopkeeper's warning, I purchased the ornament, dismissing his cautionary tales as mere superstitions. Little did I know that by doing so, I had awakened an ancient evil that had lain dormant for years. That night, as I hung the ornament on my Christmas tree, a cold wind swept through my apartment, extinguishing the festive lights and plunging the room into darkness. A sense of dread washed over me as shadows danced menacingly on the walls, and the once joyous carols playing on the radio twisted into haunting melodies. Suddenly, the ornament began to glow with an eerie light, its symbols coming to life and pulsating with malevolent energy. A sense of terror paralyzed me as the room filled with whispered voices, speaking in a language long forgotten by time. I realized then that I had unleashed something beyond my understanding, something intent on reclaiming Notting Hill for its own. Desperate to undo my mistake, I sought the shopkeeper's help, but his store was nowhere to be found, as if it had vanished into thin air. Frantic, I scoured the streets of Notting Hill, now devoid of its festive charm, replaced by an oppressive darkness that threatened to consume everything in its path. As Christmas Eve approached, the malevolent force grew stronger, its influence spreading like a plague throughout Notting Hill. The once celebrated Christmas tree in the town square wilted and died, its lights flickering out one by one, replaced by a single ornament that glowed with unholy light. With each passing hour, more and more people succumbed to the darkness, their joyous spirits extinguished by fear and despair. I realized that if I didn't act quickly, Notting Hill would be lost forever, its festive spirit replaced by an eternal night. Armed with determination, I returned to my apartment, confronting the evil that had been unleashed. As the clock struck midnight, I performed a desperate ritual, using the very symbols carved into the ornament to banish the malevolent force back to where it came from. The room trembled as the ancient words echoed through the air, and for a moment, all was still. Then, with a deafening roar, the evil was sucked back into the ornament, its glow dimming until it was nothing more than a simple decoration once again. Exhausted but relieved, I returned the ornament to the antique shop, ensuring it would be sealed away forever. As I walked the streets of Notting Hill, I felt a sense of peace wash over me, knowing that I had saved the neighborhood from a fate worse than death. But as I celebrated my victory, a chilling thought crossed my mind: if Notting Hill could fall victim to such darkness, what other horrors lurked beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to strike? And as the snow continued to fall, blanketing the streets in a pristine layer of white, I knew that the true meaning of Christmas had been forever tainted, replaced by a haunting reminder of the evil that lurked in the shadows, even in the most festive of times.